Hello Flosstube and happy December. Welcome to my channel Rose Red Crafts. I'm Angelica. Today I'm here for my end of the year 2025 whip parade. This will be my biggest whip parade to date, so I'm not sure how long it'll take. This year I'm going to change things up, and I've broken it up into 4 parts. We have full coverage, non-full coverage, Christmas stitching, and Halloween stitching. And then I'll also be sharing all my finishes from this year at the end. Each section I will be grouping whips that share the same designer or shop together, just so that it's easier on me when I go to put fill in the description box. And as per usual, I will be popping the image for each whip on the screen, but I will also be inserting my starting point from the year, or from the beginning of the year, which is something I've never done before, but I took pictures of everything, well, all my full coverage, non-full coverage pieces, not my seasonal pieces. So my regular whips, I took a picture of them at the beginning of the year, so I'll be inserting where I started at in this video, which is something I don't usually do in my regular updates. As of right now, I have 70 whips. That's counting my seasonal stitching. Typically, throughout the year, I don't count my seasonal stitching in my total, but so for seasonal stitching, I have 42 whips. For regular full coverage, I have 12. For regular non-full coverage, I have 13, and then I also have 3 stamped kits. So before we get started, I just want to point out that I live in the East Bay of California, and we have been living in fog for the last couple of weeks, and we have been riding in the like 40s all week or two. I'm not sure. I haven't really been tracking it, but I know that we've been riding the 40s for a while, and it's been foggy. Very ideal for me. I love it. I love it. Today, for the first time all month, the sun has poked out, so hopefully the sun will hold out long enough for everything. Otherwise, I'll have to pause and turn on some lights. I had the lights on earlier, but then the sun came out, so I went and turned everything off. Anyways, so for today, I'm going to go ahead and start with my Christmas projects. Last year, for 2024, I started a bunch of new projects. In fact, I've been stitching for a couple years, since 2022. I think my first project I picked up was in 2021, in December of 2021. So let's say 2022. So I've been stitching for about 4 years. That sounds about right. And in that time, I had avoided Christmas projects because I'm very particular about my Christmas vibes, I guess you should say. But last year I decided to just start a whole bunch. I just like explosion of Christmas projects. Most of them are freebies, but I have five projects that are that I did purchase off of Etsy. So I have 21 whips that are Christmas or winter themed, living in these 2 red bags. I did purchase 3 yards of fabric with the intention of making some project bags. Hopefully by sometime. I'm not going to pressure myself to have this done this month, but it would be nice if I could have them done by this time next year. so that these are in their own bags. I should also point out that I will try my best to properly label each whip and their designer, but if not, it will be either in the description or in the pop-up image as I'm sharing. So with my seasonal stitching, I won't be showing you before and afters. Those are I'll only do that for my regular whips. But I will be showing you what the artwork, or the images, as I share the project. For the most part, I haven't touched any of these projects since last December. I did attempt to do a Christmas themed whip go this year. So there was 2 projects I did pick up. Those were the January calls, but then I fell off. Another thing I forgot to I wanted to say before I start showing you anything. I don't purchase fancy fabric. I purchase regular plain 18 count online, and then I cut it up and dye them myself, with the exception of some 25 count that for my full coverage pieces, and I also started buying 32 count Lugana last year for a handful of special projects. So everything should be 18 count Ada, with the exception of a couple of 32 count, 25 count Luganas, which I will tell you when it comes up. But other than that, I haven't purchased any fancy fabric from any fabric shops. So first up I'm going to share is my vintage Christmas tree. These are all going to have very small starts because I did them all last year. Everything got 1 full day last year, I think. So I think this was my very first purchase when it came to buying Christmas patterns. This is the first thing I decided I wanted. But then I sat on it for a year before I finally got around to starting it. And as I said before, these were all of these are new starts from last year, 2024. Next up is Christmas Tree Advent Calendar from Owl Stitching House. Here's all what I got done. I had intended on working on this year. Ideally, I would like to have the entire border done. I quickly lose interest in Christmas stitching after the holidays. I learned. I thought it would be easier to keep picking it up all year, but I was just wanted to work on other stuff. So we'll see what 2026 brings if I could make time for it. Next up is Santa Over the City, which is from Wombat Stitching. I did not pull the thread for this, so this is one of those projects I'm just going to I wanted to focus on the white and then pull the color as needed. Next is Christmas Holiday from Stitcherovia. Very small, non-exciting start. And then the last purchased Christmas whip is called Cozy Christmas Morning by Canvery UA. I'm not sure which way this goes. I'm gonna guess this way. It is a full coverage piece. So that's it for my purchased Christmas whips. I do intend on working on these in 2026 pre-Christmas time, but we'll see if how much time actually gets put into them. Next up, we have all the Christmas freebies. Again, anything that's by the same anything that's by a specific shop or designer are grouped together. So first up, we have 3 charts from Owl Forest Embroidery. The first one is Merry Christmas. This one is part of a set. This freebie, it has multiple pages, and I just picked the one piece that's said Merry Christmas. This one is on a 25 count too, a dyed piece of 25 count scrap. Next is Christmas Bear Polar, I think is how it's listed. I'm doing it on this piece. Again, 25 count. And Christmas Bear Red. And another 25 count. Next, I have 3 pieces from Blue Ribbon Designs. This one's Peppermint Pressie. These ones are going to be on 18 count. Bundled Up Birdie. This was one of the pieces that I picked up in January for WhipGo, so it is very close to a finish. So if I get around to it this month, I could have it finished before the year's up. And then next is my Frosty Friend. Now we have 2 pieces from Pinker and Punkin Quilting. First we have Winter Holly Inn. And Gingerbread Saltbox. I think all of these 18 counts are 2 over 1, and these ones are 1 over 1. I wanted them more delicate, and I think this one was 2 over 1. Anyways. These are all going to be one-offs. There's no more groups. So we've got Baked with Love by Durene Jones. This one I don't know the name of, or I'm not. I have this listed as Tiny Stocking, and I think it's from Common Thread Society. This one is Winter from, I don't know, I forgot to look to see how you're supposed to, I don't know how to pronounce that. Crocette a Gogo. Then I have Noel from Steady Thread. I know the margin is very tight, but I think it should be fine. Next is Mistletoe Kisses from Silver Creek Samplers. This is another piece that did get picked up for January's WIP Go, so it should be close to a finish. Next is Hands-On Designs, Berry and Blooms. This one is 12 Days of Christmas from Plum Street Samplers. A very minute, let's see here, the crease makes it hard to see, so it's like a 4. So it's actually a good thing that I didn't get very far on this, because this is not the fabric I had set aside for this project. So this is a piece of 25 count that I had intended on starting a different project on. I have some hanging fabric. Yeah, this piece was supposed to be set aside for a different project. I was actually supposed to put this on this piece of, it's like a really thin 18 count, and I thought that it would look nice on this piece of fabric. I'm pretty sure this is a cut off from my Modern Folk Embroidery 2024 Sal, but at some point I will be frogging this and restarting it on this fabric. And my last Christmas WIP is Wassail from Witch's Garden Crafts. And that is all of my Christmas WIPs. I'm going to save my Halloween WIPs until last, because if you've watched me before, or if you're a returning viewer, then you would have just seen my Halloween WIPs in my last video. So I'm going to do non-full coverage. So my non-full coverage WIPs are in order by when I started them. At this time, my earliest WIP is from 2023, because anything that I had started in 2022 is either finished or has been UFO'd. So first up, we're going to start with Sampler 208. That is from 2x2 Stitch Art. I always call them 2x2. It could be 2x2. I'm not sure. And I have a bad habit of sharing this in the wrong orientation. So here's where I'm at. It took me a very long time to finish this first block. But I think for 2026, I will probably maybe do a block per quarter. possibly, just for this year. I might do one, because this next section is broken up into 4 different blocks, so I might do 1 per quarter, and that'll be my goal for this piece this year. Sampler 208, I started on March 9th, 2023. Next up is Fish and Ships. This is by Long Dog Samplers. I started this on March 9th, 2023. Next up is Alice in Wonderland. This is from Forest Embroidery. Here's my progress. I started this on March 16th, 2023. All my project bags I made myself, so I'm not going to go through and tell you like the design or anything. I made all of these, experimenting with different sizes and stuff. This was one of my first ones I made. I mean, it was part 2 of the first batch I made, so this was one of the ones I liked the best. Okay, now that was it for 2023. Now we're going to do 2024. So first up is going to be No Time Like the Present, which is Modern Folk Embroideries 2024 Sal. Here's where I'm at. I hope I got that one in right. This one I started on January 5th, 2024. And I chose the colors 320 and 336. And I'm doing this 1/1. In January of 2024, I changed the direction that I stitch. So like left to right, right to left kind of thing. So at the beginning, when I very first started this, I'm pretty sure I started in one direction, and then I have since switched it to the other. But I have noticed that when working on this, that I keep flip-flopping which direction I go in, but I don't mind. I don't really notice it for the most part, so it'll be fine. I don't know why this is the only project I do that on. Next up is Well Suited from Ink Circles. I started this one on March 5th, 2024. I purchased the called for gray. It's Black Sea from Valdani, but they didn't have the red that was called for, but that's fine because I love this. It's this Threadwork thread. I think it's called Bleeding Heart. So I love the way this thread looks. And I'm saving the Krynic for last. I have been able to avoid Krynic over the past 4 years. I wonder if this will be the year I finally have to use it. Next is Pokemon Type Chart. This is from Tiny Pufferfish. I started this on April 16th, 2024. I'm going to see here. I have the full outside border done. Next up is Nostalgic Tarot. Originally started as a Patreon exclusive pattern. They had released the Lovers and Death cards for either February or March of 2024. But then everybody wanted the full complete set. So they just released so they've been releasing two cards for the tarot pattern every other month on their Patreon. The last card was released this month, so the full pattern should be available to purchase on their website. I would think in a couple of months, maybe. Anywhere from 3 to 6 months is my guess. Otherwise, should be able to purchase everything in pieces, or you could just wait for the full chart to be released. Anyways, so I started this on April 24th, 2024, and I have not gotten very far. I am very proud of the amount of progress I put into it this year, considering how little I did last year. But I don't know what my goal is going to be on it this year. I'm hoping to get, ideally I would love to have the full border done before the year is over, but I don't know if that's going to happen. Next is going to be Video Game Sampler from Screaming Heart Design. This one has a swear word in it. I have not stitched that part yet. I can't see. So I started this, it says June of 2024. I'm not sure exactly what day. So Notion says I started it on the 1st, but that may just be a placeholder date. So that was it for 2024. So now all my new starts from this year. that are non-full coverage. So first up is Dark Queen of the Sea from Autumn Lane Stitchery. This was a piece that I was fully aware of since it was released. I was watching Flosstube when it was released originally, but I never picked it up to work on, or I wasn't going to start it. It came out around the time that I was new to stitching, and I thought it was too intimidating to work on. I did have to add some fabric because I realized that not only did I start it in the wrong, I started this in the wrong orientation. It was supposed to go this way, but also I did it on the wrong side of the fabric. You know, if you dye fabric, you'll notice that one side's always more saturated than the other. And I did start this on the wrong side of the fabric and in the wrong orientation, but it still looks nice. So yes, as I was saying, this was around when I was watching Flosstube when I was new to stitching. I watched Rachel Ray Crafts working on it, as well as other people, and I was too intimidated to start it, even though I was in love with the colors, which is the main thing I love about this, is the colors. But it wasn't until I was watching whip parades in 2025, so 2024's end of the year whip parades, this started popping up in some people's whip parades, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to start it. So not only did I decide at the last moment, but I was able to purchase the fabric and floss, dyed the fabric, all within 2 weeks, and made it my birthday start for 2025. I bought all of the DMC. I did not buy the Petite Treasure braids or any of the beads though, because I figured that it would probably take me a while to finish the stitching, and when I get closer to a finish, then I would go and invest in buying the other stuff. Okay, next up is going to be Shores of Hawk Run Hollow from Carriage House Sampling. This is one of the few paper charts that I own. I'm not big on paper charts. I have noticed that I'm starting to have a desire to have the hard copy of a chart instead of just having digital, but I also love being able to data on, collect data on Pattern Keeper. I just wish that that Pattern Keeper like kept a data of your stitches for the month, or at least a week, so that if because there's times when I will be working on something and then I'll have to put it away momentarily, not thinking that I'm done for the night, and then like fall asleep or something, and then wake up the next day and realize that I didn't write down my totals, and then I don't know exactly how much I worked on the day before. if it's late enough, I could change the time from midnight to 4 a.m. because those are the two options when your day starts. So if I have it set for 12 o'clock or 12 midnight and it rolled over and it's like 12:30, 1 o'clock and I'm stitching, I could switch it to 4 a.m. and then it'll keep my total for the day. But by 4 a.m. it starts back at 0. So I wish it was easier. I wish they would add that feature more so than the back stitching. Okay. Anyways, so here's where I'm at. First of all, is that the right way? Nope, it's upside down. Flags on top. Center start. I started this on June 28th, which is my father-in-law's birthday. He loves ships and lighthouses and stuff, so I thought it made sense to start this piece on his birthday. Next up is Wings of Change from Silver Creek Samplers. This is another paper chart. Here's my progress. Oh, I'm showing it side by side and I just realized these are all new starts. I don't have any progress to show. So I didn't say it before and I just realized that I have 5 new starts for 2025 that are non-full coverage pieces. They're all done on 32 count Lugana. And they're all done 2/2. This is a piece I started for my mom with the intention of FFOing it for her. In the 4 years that I've been stitching, I haven't gifted anything, so this will be my first. I intend on this being my first cross stitch gift. Next is Persephone's Garden from Jet X Stitch. There's my progress. I started this on August 2nd, 2025. And my last non-full coverage new start of 2025 is when I think of the alphabet, 2024 from Pantini. Right? Or was it 2023? Yeah, it's 2024. I started it in 2025. I started this on my little's first day of kindergarten, which was August 6th. Now we're going to move on to full coverage. First up is Epic Pokemon. This is Gen 1 from Lord Illidan. First, let me do a full pull. Let's see if I could do a side-by-side. Pull it back, see if I could do a side-by-side maybe. So, I say this every time that I show this, but in case you're new, Epic Pokemon was my second cross-stitch project. Started less than a month after my first project. However, I was not, after putting like 3,000 stitches into it, 3 or 4,000 stitches into it, I realized that the colors didn't look right. So this is a full restart, but I restarted this one on May 23rd, 2023. Next up is Lost Soul, which is the Story Keep version from Heaven and Earth Designs. It is retired. I started this on February 6th, 2024. It was my birthday start. It was my birthday start for last year, 2024. I didn't get as far as I had hoped this year, but I did get a lot. I still did a lot of progress. I also realized that that the building on this side of the road is not as thick as this. I think it's very, did I mark this? I think it only goes out to maybe here, so it's not as thick, so it is potentially close to being done. I also brought the blue down lower than I needed to for a page complete finish. So anyways, this was my first 25 count piece project. I remember the first time I pulled it out that I thought I was not going to be able to see the tiny holes. Like I struggled to see what I was doing when I originally started this. However, over time I'm good. 25 is good. In fact, I will be starting my first 28 count project hopefully this month. I have intentions for a New Year's Eve new start. That'll be on 28 count. Not because I wanted to see how tiny I could go, but just because it was what was available. I had purchased it last spring, or this past spring. I went to purchase fabric, and 25 count was wiped out, and so I snatched up some 28 count. So I have three new starts that will be on the 28 count. Alright, next is Golden Eye Dragonling. This is also from Heaven and Earth Designs, and it is the mini. I am disappointed in myself for not starting this earlier. First of all, here's where I'm at. I started this on August 9th, 2024. And this was an image that I had seen Heaven Earth Designs release as a diamond painting, and so I had it in my cart as a diamond painting for 2 years, 2 or 3 years. Never really wanting to invest the money to kit that up as a diamond painting. And then I think it was in 2023 or early 2024. I don't recall. It was probably 2024, early 2024. It occurred to me, oh, I should probably see if that image that I love and I want to start, if they probably have it as a cross stitch. So they obviously did. And I don't need the full version. A mini will be satisfying enough. Goldeneye Dragonling is half stitch. Lost Soul is full cross. Most of my full coverages moving forward are going to be half cross. My next 5 projects are from Thread Geeks. So if I get this posted before Christmas, they are still available to purchase at this time, but they will all be retired on New Year's. I'm not sure what the last official day is, but it may be New Year's Eve is the last time to purchase them. But Thread Geeks is retiring the majority of their stock. So I'm pretty bummed because with Thread Geeks retiring all of these charts and then having a retired Hay chart, it just feels like most of my full coverages are all retired charts. So first up is going to be Treasures. This is by Ines Guerrero. Here's where I'm at. I started this on May 19th, 2024. Next up is another Ines Guerrero. This is called Princess Belle. I started this one on August 1st, 2024. I started all these pieces around the same time because they were in my bingo board that I was playing at the time through Fandom. This one's going to have the least amount of work on it. In fact, I haven't touched it at all this year. So this is The Witcher from Thread Geeks. I don't know how to pronounce the name, but it'll be on here. So if I did this Witcher piece, and I started this in 2022. This is a 2022 start. I think I finished it in 2023. And I really enjoyed working on it. And I had some blues after finishing it and wishing I could still work on it. So I started another Witcher. But I'm not in a rush to finish it. So that's all I've done on it. Just just this little baby piece. And yes, there is a spot missing. It's just one little spot missing right there. That's on purpose. So it's not a terribly big chart. It's not a big piece, similar to this. This is on 18 count, by the way. This is 18 count 1/1 fabric that I dyed. So this will be a little bit bigger. This one will be slightly bigger than that, probably. But yeah, I'm not in a rush to finish this. I want to kind of take my time and enjoy it. It'll get more work done, I'm sure, this next year. Not a lot, but it'll get touched. Next is Dark Fairy Tale. This is from Crisabug. Crisabug is one of my favorite artists, as well as Ines Guerrero, but Crisabug's one of my favorite artists. I do own several diamond paintings from her. I was trying to think how many. I've got Persephone and Medusa on my wall from Crisabug. I also have the 3 Fates that I haven't started yet. But anyways, Dark Fairy Tale. When did I'm covering up my start. Started this on August 5th, 2024. This is one of my favorite full coverage pieces that I have right now. So I'm hoping to start filling in some color next year. My last one from Thread Geeks is Alice. This is from Bill Bell. This one is not available anymore. Bill Bell's charts were retired back around Halloween, or on Halloween, before they announced that they would be retiring everything else. So this one was started on August 25th, 2024. And again, these are all done on 25 count Lugana, 2/1 half stitch. Earlier this year, in the summer, I did go through all of my full coverage pieces and kit down how I had them, so that I pulled the floss. I re-kitted the way that the floss was, because I was holding on to full skeins of floss for each whip, and for most colors, or for most cross stitches, especially ones that are heavy in colors, they don't need a full skein of floss. So to try to save some space, I did reorganize my project bags this summer. Next up is Melisandre. This is from Maxine Gadd, who has her own website. It is not the easiest website to search things up on, and right after I purchased this, she released a batch of new patterns. She released a batch of new patterns, and I was scared that there was a specific image that I was eyeballing that I was afraid that she had released that, but she didn't, and I was like, that's fine. I will purchase it when it comes out. But since then, she hasn't released anything else. There's been no new patterns in like over a year, so, or two. I think I don't remember how long I purchased. I don't remember when I purchased this chart, but it was like it's been a year or two, and there's been no new patterns that have been released on her website. Anyways, here's where I'm at. I do usually try to stitch within a page. I like to work cross country by color. I mean, this is probably the best example of how I like to stitch. But it got to a point where I wanted to, I was getting tired of staying in one spot, maybe, or I don't know. I can't think of what. This is all the dark colors, I guess, that were easy to go. I'm blabbering. Let me continue. Let me just grab these. I've got 3 full coverages left, and I just realized the sun is starting to dip. I think there's still enough light to keep going without having to turn the light on. I just turned on my bedroom light. We'll see if that's sufficient enough for now. I have 3 more charts to show you. They're all from 2025, so they're all new starts. First up is Travel by TARDIS. This is by Country Magic Stitch. I'm not sure. It's probably a little dusty, the fabric. So this is 18 count. And this is 18 count black Ada that I am attempting to do 4 over 1 half stitch. So it's gonna have a unique look to it, but that's the desired effect that I was going for. So and 4 strands. Wow, it's a pain in the butt to keep them straight, and you know, it's more of a, I don't like stitching with 4 strands, but I could do it. It's giving me the option to do half stitch, or you know, it's the only way I could do half cross on these small pieces. And I intend on doing all of the Country Magic stitches in that same way. Next is Visit Isla Nubar, also by Country Magic Stitch. I love the way that one looks. Ooh. So cute. Again, this is 4 over 1 half stitch, 18 on 18 count. This one I started on March 31st, 2025. And the TARDIS I started on February 12th, 2025. And my last full coverage new start for 2025 was Thistle. Thistle is part of the Broken Star collection from Carolyn Manning. I'm not sure which way it goes, but I just did this one. So I did a center start. I did do a center start. This is 18 count, and I'm doing it 2/1. I started this on December 9th, 2025. I bought this chart earlier this year and never really found the time to start it, and I really wanted it to be a new start this year, so I did spend just a little bit of time putting some stitches into it so that it's an official whip. So the next thing I'm going to show you are my 3 stamped projects, and then we're going to do Halloween, and then I will do my finishes for this year. So I purchased, I had purchased like 5 or 6 stamped kits through a cheap website in 2023, thinking that I wasn't going to be starting anything else, and then I had a small windfall, so I was able to start some new things. Of the ones that I purchased, I've only held on to 3. So the first up is Dragon. This is my stained glass dragon. This is I only worked on, I don't think I worked on those parts, so I only worked here, and you can't really tell, but this like brown, goldish brown color, I did stitch some here. So it got like 700 stitches this year, not a lot. Next is Mona Lisa. This is one I haven't touched at all this year, so no progress on her. It is not particularly big, it's just, but my husband, Mona Lisa's his favorite old master. So, and it looks, I started with the face looks good enough to continue working on it. And then last, this is probably the only one that I really touched this year. This is what I did last year, and then this year I've already showed this. I haven't worked on it since I showed it last, but I started her face with the same idea as Mona Lisa. If the face is gonna look bad, then I didn't want to work on it. Oh, so this is Sailor Moon. Is it all fitting? Yeah, I decided to work on Sailor Moon's face to see if it was going to look alright. I decided I wanted to move on and do something else, so I didn't pick it up again, but I think it'll be fine. It is a massive piece. I am in no rush to work I'm not trying to finish it. I just like having it as a future, I don't know how to explain, like a rainy day project or something that to work on when I don't have access to Pattern Keeper or I don't want to look at a chart. It's just when you're in the mood for a stamp kit. The dragon one I started because it was 2024 was the year of the dragon. So I thought it was cute, and I thought I would be able to finish it in a year. But I didn't know that at the time that I was going to be starting so many whips in 2024. So next up is going to be Halloween. All of my Halloween projects at this time are in one bag. It does zip. I just don't have it zipped right now. I intend on getting some Halloween fabric and making some project bags. I don't mind if they double up. Obviously, I don't mind if they share project bags, but I do want to get some Halloween themed project bags just for my Halloween projects. Just like I intend on doing some Christmas project bags for my Christmas projects. And my idea is that each of them will be stored in their own totes. It would be nice if I could get like a holiday totes as well, but unless I make that myself, it is what it is. So so yeah, I want to have them separated from the rest of my whips. I used to have at the beginning of this video, when you saw all my whips were on these shelves, this is where I used to keep them. This year they got moved, and now I'm keeping them in some plastic drawers that I have somewhere else, so they're more accessible. Usually these shelves are empty most of the time, but it may come to a time when I start using this again. Anyways, so if you watched my November Flosstube, I had started a whole bunch of Halloween projects, with more that are ready to start as well, but this is what I was able to get to. I did not get to them in October in time for Halloween, so I started one on Halloween, and the rest I started in early November. I spent a week just starting as many as I could before I had to stop and focus on Thanksgiving stuff, shopping and cleaning and stuff like that. So so if you saw my November Flosstube, you would have already seen most of these. None of them have been touched since then. And then I do have 2 more Halloween pieces that I have added to this category because, well, I'll tell you when I get there. And then after I go through these, then I will show you my finishes for the year. So first up is going to be Spirits of the Dead. This is from Modern Folk Embroidery. This was my Halloween new start. I did organize these by designers, so everything should be relatively bunched together. Next up is Got the Morbs. This is also from Modern Folk Embroidery. This one I started on November 6th, 2025. Next up is Blackened Sky from Primitive Needle. This is a 32 count Lugana. This one was started on November 4th, 2025. Next up is Body Manor from Forbidden Fiber Co. Trying to tug on the crease, but it's hard to get a grip on this piece because of the size. This one was started on November 6th, 2025. Next up is a Graveyard Wander from the Witchy Stitcher. I started this one on the wrong fabric, so it will be frogged and then restarted on a different piece of fabric. But this is what I got done. 32, I had put it on 32 count, so it's 2 over 2. And I started this on November 5th. When I frog it and put it on a new piece of fabric, I will be keeping the original date as its start. Next up is Red Riding Hood from the Witchy Stitcher. I started this one on November 8th. We have the Garden Witch. November 8th. Next is Ghost Family Crest. November 9th. Next is Live, Laugh, Lobotomy. This I did not show in my November Flosstube because I didn't work on it this year at all. It hasn't been touched this year. It was my Halloween new start from last year, 2024. Honestly, the stitches that I did put into it, I only put like 100 stitches into it, and it's hard, it's hard to see them. So it does. I don't know which way's which, but yeah. I had considered putting it on, restarting it on a different fabric, but I think I will just continue on this one, and then and hope that the colors will be, as I put more on it, it'll be easier to see. Next up is Halloween Movie Sal. This is from Atomic Tiki Pins. This is a piece that I started October 1st, 2023. It didn't get touched this year. I'm really proud of this piece. It looks, I love the way it looks. I love the fabric. This is my favorite dye, one of my favorite dye drops I've ever done. This was done with taupe and orange. So, so this is a movie cell where from Atomic Tiki Pins. So they release a center image, and then they have the movies that you place around the outside. I had heavily considered UFOing this all year. I spent all year thinking I was going to UFO this, in the sense that I was going to fill in. So this black border is supposed to have white on the inside. It's because it's black and white. I was stalling on doing the white. I was stalling on doing the white so I had something to work on when I picked it up again, because I have to think about which movies I want to put on the outside, and then I have to think about how to arrange them to make them all fit. And I don't like to think when I'm cross stitching, so I have heavily weighed on just finishing that white and then calling it a day, and then that's it. That's still a possibility that I will do that, because I also own the Christmas movie cell and the horror movie cell. So I've got I have two other charts to start from the same designer. So I may just call it a day and then frame it like this, instead of having to worry about what movies are on there. But that I feel like that'll be a problem for future me. So for right now, what I decided this year, or back in October, was that this is no longer a regular whip. This is now a seasonal whip. So I will pull it out in October of 2026 and decide what I want to do then. If 2026 me wants to do the movies, then I can. If 2026 me just wants to do the white and call it a day, then that's what's going to happen. But for right now, this is an October stitching project. I will only pull this out in October. Okay. Next, I have 3 pieces from Raven's Coven. They were all free charts. I think through her Patreon. It was I joined her Patreon, the free membership of Patreon, and these charts were all free from it. So first up is Creepy. I think it's listed as Creepy Wicked, because there's a black and white version and a colored version. So I have the colored version, or I started the color version. I'm going to be changing the colors on it in the future if I don't decide to UFO it before then, because I am attempting to do 2/1 on 25 count, and I don't like it. It's too snug for my liking. So I started this on November 10th, 2025. I will pick it up I will pick it up next year, most likely. And next year me will decide if I keep working on it or if I'm going to UFO it. Next is I Only Count for Cross Stitch. And I know I showed this upside down last time. I don't know if this is the right way or not. Like I said in my last video, this works for me because I have a Kermit finish and I have a Gonzo. Gonzo? No, it's not Gonzo. It's I have a Kermit finish, and I have a Grover, not Grover. I have a Grover finish. So I thought I could add to my Sesame Street collection by doing this count. I started November 7th, if I didn't already say that. And then next is Majestic Owl, which is the reason why it was going to be the first purchase I made on their Etsy, but before I get a chance to purchase it, it was offered as a free chart for joining Patreon. So this is where I think it goes out to here. Just a small start, just like everything else. Next, I am showing Haunted House, which is a freebie from the Sunflower Diaries. This one is the other Halloween piece that I accidentally stitched on the wrong fabric. So this will need to be frogged and restarted on a different piece of fabric. Next is going to be Ghoulish Gourd. This is from the Stitch Crypt. I started this one on November 10th. And then the last of the Halloween pieces, those are all going to be from the Witchy Stitcher's new book that she released this summer. So first is going to be Superstitious Stitchers. Started on November 9th. We've got a Memento Mori. Started on November 3rd. Nevermore. Started on November 10th. Vintage Halloween Dolls. Started on November 8th. Happy Halloween. Started on November 5th. And Haunting Hour. Started on November 9th. And that is all of my current Halloween whips. And lastly, we have my finishes for 2025. When I set my plans for the year, I didn't have intentions on any finishes. None of these projects should have been finished if I had stuck to my plans. But I'm not upset that I finished them. I do not remember which order I finished these in, so I'm just going to grab them. So first is going to be, this is called Cthulhu Awakens. I'm not going to show the cover image since these are finishes. So this is Cthulhu Awakens. It's on 18 count, 2/1. This is one of the first pieces that I had started 2/1 on 18 count and decided that it was not for me. However, since then I have started to like 2/1 on 18 count, specifically for samplers. I do still like the look of 1/1 for a lot of things, but it seems like I've been favoring 2/1 on 18 count. Cthulhu Awakens is from The World in Stitches. It was a free pattern that I found online. Next is Welcome to Tatooine. This, again, like the other Country Magic stitches, this is 18 count, and I did this 4/1 half stitch for that unique look. The sun does kind of almost blend in, but I'm okay. It's fine. I did use the DMC, so that's what was charted. I didn't make any alterations. So anyways, this was a new start into this year on May 1st. May is very popular with in the stitching community for different types of marathons. There are several marathons in May, depending on what you want to do. I like to spend the first week of May working on a Star Wars piece. That's what I want to do. However, I did obviously work on this more than a week. This took me 3 weeks, I want to say. I don't remember right now. And I was definitely burnt out, and so I intend on starting a new poster. I think these are listed as movie posters, or travel posters. Sorry, they're listed as travel posters on their shop. I intend on starting a new poster each year. My husband's already picked which poster he wants me to work on this year. I was hoping it was going to be Endor or Dagobah, but he chose Bespin, I think. Let me check. Yeah, he chose Bespin, which is like the same colors, close to the same color scheme. So, but that's what he chose, and this is one of those projects that I go ahead and let him have some sort of say in it. So these will be started every year, but I will not be pushing for finish each year. I will spend a week on it, and then I will put it away, and the next year I will start another one, and then whatever, that it'll get added to something else, or it'll get added into as active whips, and it'll get worked on throughout the year if it gets called. Next is, that's not right. Yeah, it is. I've had this for so long that I forgot. So the next finish I had for 2025 is my Supernatural Sal. I had no intention on this being a finish this year. It just happened. something took over and I flew through it and finished it. So I started this when it originally released. Let me see if I could pull up if I have any stats on it. So I can't remember how to get into I don't remember how to get into my notions. My notions, my finished whips, I can't remember where that's hidden at. So Supernatural Sal, I started it when it was originally released. I had the border up. I'm pretty sure I had the border up before the first creature was dropped. But as each creature was dropped, I was not filling the project as much anymore. It not. It wasn't calling to me. So I sat on it and kind of dragged my feet working on this forever. And I just realized right now, as I'm talking about it, that I still technically didn't finish it, but it's still done. It's done. So I just remembered that there was some French knots in this pattern. On the demons, tentacle-y things. There was spots on the fairy's wings, and there's supposed to be spots on the mushroom. But I couldn't figure out how to French knot, and yeah, I couldn't figure out how to French knot. So I finished this. When did I finish this? I'm having to guess. I would say I probably finished this in around May, probably somewhere between April and June, somewhere in that vicinity. It got finished. And then my last finish for 2025 is, sorry, I itched. Okay, so my last finish for 2025 is Storytime, which is by Forbidden Fiber Co. This is fabric that was purchased. This fabric was purchased as a kit, or with this pattern as a kit. It is 18 count. The fabric was called Granite, and it's coming off very white right now. Yeah, it's coming off very, very white. Oh, anyways, it's like it looks like a right now to me it looks like a dirty eggshell kind of. Anyways, I purchased the Princess Bride mystery box in December of 2023, and it was a pre-order for their Valentine box. Yeah, it was a Valentine mystery box, Princess Bride themed. And so I purchased a full kit. It came with a project bag, needle minder, and some other goodies. So this wasn't my favorite chart when it came, so I wasn't drawn to working on it at the time. Also, it is charted to have some like back stitching on the red, but I didn't want to. I had started it on the F, and possibly even the E on fencing, and then decided I didn't like the way it looked. So I frogged it the best I could, but it's not perfect because you can still see that the F is a little bit darker, backstitching, or like the shadowing on it is a little bit darker. It's because I couldn't perfectly frog it all the way, but I rushed to finish this piece so that I could, because I was more motivated to be able to start Body Manor. I was trying to keep my whip count number down, and I had this idea that I wouldn't start a project from the same designer until I finished what I already have started from them, with the exception of the Witchy Stitcher. Witchy Stitcher will always be an exception. Speaking of, this was Witchy Stitcher if I didn't say it. So that's all of my finishes for 2025. And I did make a Star Wars bag specifically for my Star Wars pieces, but I didn't make it until after I had already finished tattooing, so I've been using it to hold my my finishes. So I will move those over to my bag of finishes. Which are right here. This is my bag of finishes. Very other than this Witcher, which is only partially fully finished, I never bought a frame for it, so it's just wrapped around a piece of canvas. I've never fully finished anything, so those pieces will get moved into the bag to make way for my next Star Wars piece. And that is everything. I intend on making a 2026 plans video, like what my intentions are, but I don't know when I will do that. I have spent a lot of time working on it mentally, figuring out the logistics. I had an idea of what I was going to do, but then I decided I changed my mind, wanted to try something a little bit. I wanted to keep it simple. Then I decided let's make it a little bit more fun, and worst case scenario, if that doesn't work out, then I go back to the simple, and I would be happy with either thing. So I do have what I do know what I intend on doing for 2026. I'm pretty sure. I just need to write it all out just to double check. To make sure I covered all my bases. But I do intend on making a 2026 plans video, and I don't know when. It could be tomorrow, or it could be early to mid-January. I don't know. So sometime in the next month, I'll make a plans video. But for now, I am going to put all these whips away. I'm going to grab something to snack on, and then I'm going to go pick up my little from school. Thank you for watching all the way to the end. If you did, please leave a comment or some emojis in the comments. That would be very appreciated, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.